Hi, I'm Missouri Elks Association State Government Relations Chairman Jeremiah Cook. And today we're talking about the Charitable Summary. These reports represent the only tangible proof of our benevolence in the communities. They also help to establish with the state and local governments the work that we do in the communities that they represent. But according to the Grand Lodge Government Relations Manual, only about half of the work actually done by our lodges is reported. In the state of Missouri, that means $14 million of charitable work went unreported in the 2015-2016 year alone. But we can fix that. Let's start by taking a look at what can and can't be reported in your lodge. The simple rule of thumb to follow is all work performed for charitable, patriotic, civic-minded, or community-related purposes needs to be reported. Included with patriotic programs is any time spent preparing for or participating in parades in your community. For example, All Americanism and patriotic programs, which are reported on line 1301. Any activities for Army of Hope, either in support of the troops or in support of returning soldiers, should be reported on line 1403, Veterans Programs. Along with that, all time spent and activities held to support our veterans, including Adopt-A-Vet programs, should be reported. If your lodge has an Antlers program, any activities involving starting or maintaining, as well as any assistance provided with running their events and meetings, should be reported. Many lodges have drug awareness activities, like Safe Nights or participation in National Night Out. These, along with any time spent handing out materials or any time you have Elroy at a public event, should be reported. Anything done by our members to assist special needs children, such as sponsoring camps or fundraisers, should also be reported. If your lodge participates in leadership or other Youth Week activities, these can be reported. Just make sure to include all expenses, hours, and number of participants and volunteers as you would for any other program. What you may not realize is you can also report your lodge's hoop shoot and soccer shoot activities. Be sure to include the number of participants along with the number of Elks in attendance. Many lodges make donations to the Elks National Foundations. Any such contribution should be reported as an ENF donation on your charitable summary. The same is true for any work done to support or promote your state major project. You might also not be aware that your lodge's scholarship activities are also covered as part of the charitable summary. Any time spent contacting schools, distributing applications and materials, as well as time spent judging those applications are eligible for reporting, along with the dollar amount of the scholarships given, which should be reported as a cash contribution. You can also report Student of the Month or Student of the Year activities your lodge participates in. Does your lodge hold holiday parties for kids? Do you sponsor field trips or camps for kids? These are all things that can be reported. Also, anything done by your lodge to support senior citizens in your community can be reported. Speaking of youth activities, your lodge can also report any work done to support local Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts, Eagle Scouts, and Girl Scouts. Any efforts on behalf of your lodge to support the community through donations of service, such as adopting a road for cleanup, erecting a public monument, or supporting local police, fire, and EMS, should be reported. If your lodge participates in natural disaster relief, there's a section for that on the charitable summary as well. Many lodges host a community health fair or hold a blood drive. These are both reportable items. Does your lodge donate use of the facilities for fundraisers or other charitable events? This is considered a reportable item on the charitable summary. If your lodge participates in a food basket program, whether at Christmas or any other time of the year, or does work to support a local food pantry, that should be reported as well. And you may not realize it, but offering civic awards for police officers, firefighters, outstanding citizens, or any other such award is also covered as part of the charitable summary. One last item to discuss: state conventions, Grand Lodge session, district deputy clinics, and vice president clinics. These are considered reportable activities within certain boundaries. We'll start with Grand Lodge and state conventions. Any member who attends either can report this on the charitable summary, but only for the time where charitable committees and activities were discussed. According to the Grand Lodge Government Relations Manual, the committee responsible for government relations estimates that 1/2 of the time spent in business sessions is used to discuss charitable topics. Thus, 1/2 of the time a member spends, along with their mileage to the meetings, can be reported. That being said, if a member or their spouse spends time working at something like the State Major Project booth or the Drug Awareness booth, this can also be reported. Just be sure to include the time spent setting up and tearing down, as well as any time spent actually operating the booth. As for district deputy and vice president clinics, Lodge, district, and state chairpersons of charitable committees like Benevolent Trust, Scholarship, or ENF should report their time and miles traveled, as well as any reimbursed expenses for the trip. All of this information can be found in the Grand Lodge Government Relations Handbook. Just go to elks.org and log in. From there, you'll need to look under the Members Only tab and click on the Manuals link. That pulls up this page. Then scroll down until you find the Government Relations Committee heading, under which is the link for the manual. To access the manual, select Download. In the manual, you'll find several useful items, including a survey of volunteer, youth, charitable, and community service programs that can be filled out with each activity. This will help your lodge secretary input the proper information when it comes time to fill out the charitable summary. Keep in mind, this isn't a comprehensive list. Your lodge may have other activities that they participate in that aren't covered in this. If you have any questions, you can contact your district or state government relations chairman, and they can help you find the answers you need. And one more note. One surefire way to keep your district government relations chairman off your back at the end of the year is to make sure and have that information filed in a timely fashion. If you fill out a charitable summary, be sure to turn that into your lodge secretary by the 3rd day of each month. That way they can update the information as we go throughout the year. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact the Government Relations Committee. Until next time, I'm Missouri Elks Association State Government Relations Chairman Jeremiah Cook.